Narendra Modi, outlining India's ambitious plan to transform the nation into a developed entity by the centenary of its independence in 2047, encompassing diverse facets of development, economic prosperity, social advancement, environmental sustainability, and effective governance. As QS, we are a partner to higher education institutions, to governments, and to students around the world, helping motivated people to realise their ambitions and institutions to excel. We help institutions to find and enrol the right students, to communicate their strengths and build their reputations, to engage globally, to support employability success and deliver sustainable outcomes. Both QS and our founder and president, Nunzio Quaccarelli, have long-standing ties to India's higher education community, and we're honoured to have been working with Indian institutions since QS was founded almost 35 years ago. At QS, we're proud of the strong foundation that we have in India, firstly with our annual summit, which is an expanding thought leadership forum for the world to network with India, and our own presence and investment in human capital, with over a third of our global team based in our Mumbai and Bangalore centres of excellence and additional sites across India. We also operate India's first private sector higher education and education rating system called QS iGauge, which helps to inspire and to push Indian institutions to achieve global standards. We support Indian students to realise their ambitions globally and institutions around the world to communicate their message to students, partners and alumni in India. Our top university's website saw 9 million visits from Indian students, including those looking at the QS rankings, which is really the primary source of data on university excellence used by students. The positive momentum driving Indian higher education institutions continue to build, with institutions rising in prominence and building their global impact, creating and expanding the innovative partnerships, joint degree programs, research collaborations and exchange programs which enrich the personal, academic and professional development of students and faculty across the world. One of the many lenses that we use to allow us to reflect on the progress which Indian institutions have made is the QS World University Rankings, and in November 2023, India surpassed China for the first time to have the highest number of ranked institutions in our Asia 2024 QS World University Rankings. So we now have 111 institutions in the 2023 edition of our Asian Rankings, which moved to 148 in the 2024 edition, compared to 133 Chinese institutions, 96 in Japan, 87 in Korea and many others across Asia. So as with every higher education ecosystem in the world, there remain some real opportunities. Some of our data shows us that there's great potential for deeper industry academic collaboration, a lot of scope for institutions to focus more on sustainability and their performance and potential in that area. But with the ambitions for economic transformation and growth, perhaps graduate outcomes need to continue to be at the forefront of thinking of India's colleges and universities. Indian respondents to our QS International Student Survey said that their 3 most important career considerations when choosing a university are allowing me to learn the new skills that I need, helping me build my professional network, and giving me international experience. All of these are opportunities which can be further strengthened through meaningful partnerships and collaborations, the theme of our summit. But as we think about empowering excellence and unleashing the potential of partnerships and collaboration in Indian higher education, the key to achieving that is sustainability and equality. The group assembled here today are uniquely placed to collectively advance our thinking on how partnerships can be truly beneficial to the students and faculty of both institutions, as well as the local communities they serve and the economies within which they operate. In the past, some collaborations may not have always been equally or mutually beneficial, and yet the long-term strength and stability of both the Indian higher education system and economy and the higher education sectors and economies who've been the recipient of so much Indian talent and the funding streams they bring with them, those economies and higher education sectors are really dependent on long-term sustainable models. That's what I hope we will refine through this meeting, in the sessions, but more importantly, through the relationships formed. I thank you in advance for the inspiring contributions and reflections which we will all learn from. It's our hope that you consider this summit not as a one-off event, but as a springboard for meaningful, long-lasting collaboration and community between universities, industry partners, universities within India, universities globally, and between yourselves and QS. I wish you all a thought-provoking summit and hope that our program and the conversations you have in the coming days help to spark those new collaborations and partnerships which will help realize India's ambitions for the brightest of futures. Thank you.
May I now invite Dr. P. Satyanarayan for the speech.
His Excellency, the Governor of Tamil Nadu, esteemed guests, visionary educators, and respected colleagues. It is my immense pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the QS India Summit hosted in Chennai, the heart of India's educational innovation. It is a privilege to gather here to explore the theme, empowering the excellence, unleashing the potential of partnership and collaboration in Indian higher education. Over the next 2 days, we have a unique chance to shape the future of education together. This summit is our opportunity to think deeply, engage in a meaningful dialogue, and envision a new path for education. The story of education is a testament to its power in shaping civilizations. From India's ancient academies to modern universities worldwide, education institutions has driven the societies to economic prosperity and cultural richness. These institutions are more than just center of learning. They are the catalyst for the global leadership and innovation. They are also the bedrock for the groundbreaking original researchers. At this crucial moment, inspired by the legacies of educational giants, our aim is clear: to create institutions that achieve academic brilliance and reflect our collective aspirations. A key part of this mission involves nurturing an entrepreneurial spirit within our students by encouraging them to be just not job seekers, but job creators. We empower them to drive the technological innovation and the economic growth, bringing wealth and prosperity to our society. The collaboration between Stanford University and the Silicon Valley stands as a beacon for this goal. It illustrates the remarkable outcomes possible when academia and industry unite, fostering a culture of innovation that fuels the economic expansion. This partnership, along with the emphasis of entrepreneurial education, exemplifies our aim to keep the society at the technology forefront and innovation. Collaboration remains our key to success. United with academia, industry, and government, we can tackle societal changes and elevate our national standing through educational excellence. We extend our heartfelt thanks to QS for providing SRM University the platform to sponsor this summit, a testament to the transformative power of collaboration. As we engage in the discussions and workshops, let's remain open to the transformative possibilities ahead. The work we do here can establish the foundation for an educational future that is equitable, accessible, and ready to meet the global challenges. Together, let's embrace this summit as an opportunity to foster institutions that not only ignite national pride, but also position us as global leaders, like keeping up the legacy of educational excellence. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Turner and Dr. P. Satyanarayan for your kind words. Moving on. Next we have the Summit Chair remarks by Professor Rajkumar, Founding Vice Chancellor, O.P. Jindal Global University.
His Excellency, the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Sri M. Ravi, distinguished guests who have come across India and around the world, the QS senior leadership, Jessica, QS representatives, Ashwin, Ben Sauter, and other members of the senior leadership team of QS, the Vice Chancellors, Presidents, Rectors of universities from India and around the world, other higher education leaders who are present here. Also, in particular, I would like to recognize the presence of Lord Patel, who is a distinguished member of the House of Lords, Dr. Achyuta Samanta, distinguished member of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my proud privilege as session chair to share some of my remarks as we embark on the QS India Summit journey that we began last year in Goa. I would like to at the outset congratulate QS for providing institutional leadership in recognizing the extraordinary potential of partnership and higher education leaders coming together in discussing the big issues of our time. In fact, the extraordinary success of the QS India Summit in Goa sparked a very important conversation around issues relating to higher education and the future of universities in general. We in India have been part of a phenomenal change in the higher education sector led by the national education policy the Government of India had announced on 29th July 2020. Since then, we have been actively involved in various substantive reforms relating to higher education. But ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by saying that the Indian higher education journey not just began now. Over 2,000 years ago, India provided civilization leadership through the extraordinary contributions of institutions such as Nalanda, Takshashila, Vallabhi, and Vikramshila. These institutions, at a point of time when older institutions did not exist, Oxford is barely 800 years old, Bologna in Italy is 900 years old, but over 2,000 years ago, India had institutions which were truly global in nature, multidisciplinary, and it also attracted both learners and teachers from across the world. Such was the extraordinary leadership that India was able to provide, the Indian subcontinent was able to provide. At the dawn of Indian independence in 1947, we had approximately 20 universities. The last 76 years of our journey has increased this number to over 1,000 plus universities, plus 50,000 other higher education institutions. Today, we are a large higher education sector which caters to the needs and aspirations of nearly 40 million students. But beyond the expansion, in the Indian context, and I speak in the context of the global south as well, higher education is also about building democracy, but also creating access to knowledge for people who don't have. This is one of the most egalitarian projects that India had undertaken at the dawn of that century, and our contribution in the last 76 years was to truly transform this sector, and what we see today is part of that effort. But this is just the beginning. As we recognize, India is also in its effort to promote frugal innovation. In a forum this morning, I talked about the fact that India has had successful mission to Mars and Moon with a cost of $75 million for each of these missions. In the United States, Hollywood had to make a movie which cost over $100 million, both Interstellar and Gravity. Such is the leadership that Indian scientists have been able to provide, not just for India, but for democratization of access to knowledge, but also democratization of science. I also want to mention that the QS India Summit is an example for building collective consciousness surrounding higher education, in which it has been able to bring higher education leaders from the global north and the global south. We have senior leaders of higher education from across the world representing their institutions, but also we have Indian higher education leaders representing different forms of diversities, including public institutions, private institutions, institutions of eminence, and national institutions of importance. Such is the forum that the QS has created that has been able to bring together people to have this conversation. I strongly believe that as the Honorable Prime Minister of India announced the Viksit Bharat 2047 vision, as India prepares to celebrate the 100th anniversary of its independence, we are poised to achieve towards the goals and aspirations of the youth of India. India has an important strength, which is about its demography. But this strength of Indian demography is not only going to be benefiting India, but also the global south and indeed the world at large. I do believe that this 1.5 billion people, comprising of over 1 billion people who are less than 35 years of age, the young people of India who are studying in educational institutions across India, are going to be shaping the future of India and the future of the world. This gives us a great sense of responsibility as to building that future means for us to be able to collaborate. As you know, India just concluded the leadership of G20, and one of the remarkable achievements of G20 was to bring Africa into the G20 imagination. Such was India's leadership that we were able to bring together a large continent in the effort to build a collective consciousness towards humanity. And the same thing, I believe, is going to be holding good for higher education partnership as well. In conclusion, I want to say that the QS India Summit is a fantastic opportunity for us to think about the big issues of our time. Some of those questions include, how do we ensure that we are able to fulfill the aspirations of young people who are studying in our institutions? How do we ensure that we are able to deal with complexity and engage in nuanced conversations so that dogmatism of any kind has no place in our campuses? How do we ensure that we balance teaching and research? How do we ensure that we create a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship among our young people? How do we ensure that we bridge the gap between theory and practice? How do we ensure that we build partnerships with both industry and businesses so that the higher education institutions are benefited? How do we ensure that we are able to fulfill the demands and aspirations of governments so that new ideas and new perspectives that academia can bring forward can be partnered with government organizations? How do we ensure that we can speak truth to power as a part of our education institutions? These are challenges which cannot be fulfilled individually, and that is why the QS India Summit Forum gives us an opportunity to collectively think together, ideate together, and come up with some of the solutions and responses to these issues that we are facing. I am deeply grateful to the Honorable Governor for taking time out of his busy schedule to be part of this conversation. The fact that he has accepted our invitation and he is present here speaks volumes about his own personal commitment and dedication to the cause of higher education. Thank you very much to you, and indeed to all our distinguished guests from India and around the world. Congratulations, QS India, as well as all of us, for a fascinating conversation that we hope to have in the next 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kumar. That was very insightful. I would now like to invite Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, Executive Director, QS Cockerelli Simmons, to set the stage for the next 2 days. Thank you.
Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Shri R.N. Ravi, the dignitaries we have on the stage and in the audience, leaders of universities, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, my heartfelt welcome to the 2024 edition of QS India Summit here in Mahabalipuram, Tamil Nadu. It feels just like yesterday that I bid goodbye to many of you in Goa at our 2023 edition of QS India Summit. Since then, QS has built a community of excellence seekers that has grown and multiplied as time goes by. And as we gather here in Mamalapuram, which is another name Mahabalipuram goes by, I'm so humbled to see the interest in Indian higher education grow many folds. This edition of QS India Summit 2024, held here in this historic and cultural rich town of Mahabalipuram, is not just a gathering of educational leaders, but also a celebration of India's rich heritage in learning and knowledge. The summit represents a convergence of global and Indian leaders committed to reshaping India's higher education landscape through partnerships and collaboration. The town, of course, has a rich history, therefore providing a fitting backdrop for a discourse on our nation's journey towards the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, a brainchild vision document of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. The vision aligns with the government's broader development goals and initiatives under his thoughtful leadership to transform India into a developed nation by 2047, the centenary of our independence. The emphasis on quality higher education and institutional empowerment as key components of this vision reflects the Indian government's commitment to fostering growth and progress in this domain. I'm excited to set the scene with this Sanskrit sloka from one of ancient India's greatest teachers, economists, and political leaders, Chanakya. Vidya prasasyate loke, vidya sarvatra gaurava, vidyaya labate sarvam, vidvana sarvatra pujyate. The English meaning is everyone extols knowledge. Knowledge is considered great everywhere. One can attain everything with the help of knowledge, and a person is respected everywhere with knowledge. So, banking on the underlying power behind these words, let us shed light on the overarching theme of empowering excellence, unleashing the potential of partnerships and collaboration in Indian higher education. This summit will address multiple avenues for opportunities that India must grasp to realize the vision of 2047. The key themes for the summit include the discussion on the G20 New Delhi Leaders Declaration, which we had an amazing session this afternoon, and will continue on this evening and tomorrow with themes such as international branch campuses in India, strengthening industry academia partnerships, exploring the importance of micro-credentials, empowering interdisciplinary research, and pushing forward the agenda of social impact. Each panel is designed to explore innovative strategies and outcome-oriented approaches, fostering rich collaborations and cross-pollination of ideas. If you get a chance, I would recommend you pick up the copy of the outcomes of the 2023 QS India Summit document which we prepared, which was released in November last year at the House of Lords with Lord Kamlesh Patel under his patronage, which is available for you for reading and to take back at our registration counter. The collaboration at this summit we've been talking about is not limited to within universities, but beyond. Henry Ford, the American industrialist and business magnate, said, "Coming together is the beginning. Keeping together is progress. Working together is success." So keeping this in mind, I hope academic institutions would serve as repositories of knowledge and innovation and industry, which plays a pivotal role in applying and commercializing this knowledge, along with industry, which will push forward with applying and commercializing this forward to address the real world challenges. At the QS India Summit, one can expect thought-provoking discussions on a broad range of perspectives. The summit has provided a platform for stakeholders from across the education spectrum to exchange ideas, share best practices, and forge meaningful collaborations. Together, we shall explore new pathways to excellence, inclusivity, and sustainability in Indian higher education, reaffirming our commitment to nurturing the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers. Ladies and gentlemen, let me end with a short story you may not or may be aware. The town we are in was named after King Narasimha Varman, who was also known as Mamalam, which means the great wrestler. And he was known to be one of India's monarchs who never lost on the battlefield. He was always victorious. So, as we embark on the journey at the summit and beyond, let the town we are in give us inspiration to meet any adversity and challenge the status quo towards making India a superpower, a much developed and a developed nation much before 2047. I welcome you all with anticipation and optimism. Let's embark on this journey together and add a new chapter of experience to the history of meaningful global collaborations. May the force of Mamallapuram be with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Fernandez, for setting the scene. It is now time to felicitate the achievements of our institutions for their excellent performance in QS Stars and QS iGauge ratings. I'd like to welcome on stage Mr. Ravin Nair, COO, QS iGauge India, to enlighten us with a brief introduction to QS Stars and QS iGauge felicitation ceremony.
Honorable Governor, His Excellency Sri R.N. Ravi, Jessica Turner, CEO QS, Dr. P. Satyanarayan, Pro-Chancellor, SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, Executive Director, QS, Professor Raj Kumar, Founding Vice Chancellor, OP Jindal Global University. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, and distinguished representatives from the world of academia, good evening. In the ever-evolving landscape of higher education, excellence is not just a goal. It is a continuous journey of improvement and commitment to global standards. The modern understanding of quality in higher education encompasses various dimensions, including academic rigor, teaching effectiveness, infrastructure, research output, and student support services. QS Stars, the international rating system, and QS iGauge, its national counterpart, stand as beacons guiding institutions towards achieving and maintaining these dimensions. These frameworks, developed based on our extensive experience in the field of higher education, serve as a benchmark that reflect the highest standards in education. As we look into the essence of QS stars, it's worth noting that this international rating system evaluates universities on a comprehensive set of criteria encompassing learning experience, research and innovation, employability, global engagement, and sustainability. On the other hand, QSI Gauge, the national rating system, acknowledges the unique challenges and context of Indian higher education. While this framework aligns itself with the global standards set by QS, it takes into account the reality of the dynamic Indian education sector that makes our educational institutions distinct and unique. Ladies and gentlemen, QS ratings go beyond traditional measures to prove a holistic view of an institution's commitment to delivering outstanding education and fostering an environment conducive to learning and growth. The Honorable Governor will bestow QS rating certificates to 15 institutions that have willingly subjected themselves to the scrutiny of these assessments. As William Butler Yeats said, education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. These institutions have not merely filled pails, they have lighted flames of knowledge, innovation, and progress. In the spirit of celebrating and recognition, let us extend our heartfelt congratulations to these institutions that have embraced the challenges posed by QS Stars and QSI Gauge. Through their commitment to excellence, they are not only elevating their own standing, but are contributing to the collective advancement of education in our nation and beyond. Let us witness and celebrate the achievements of these institutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nair, for the introduction. May I request you to stay back on stage and join the group and His Excellency Shri R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, to present the certificates to the institution. So the first award goes to Yes. Before we start with the award ceremony, may I request up to two delegates from the respective university to come on stage and collect their awards. So the first award goes to It's the Indian Public School for silver rating. Sairam, Institute of Technology, Tamil Nadu, for diamond rating. The Oxford College of Engineering, Karnataka, for diamond rating. Moving on to QS Stars award ceremony. And the first award goes to Galgotias University for 4 stars rating. JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, 5-star rating. Manav Rachna International Institute of Research and Studies, 4 stars rating. Lincoln University, 5 stars rating. Congratulations to all the winners tonight. May I now request His Excellency Shri R.N. Ravi, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, to deliver the presidential keynote address.
Distinguished dignitaries on the dais, esteemed leaders of academia, industry, civil society, gracious ladies and gentlemen, Vanakkam, Namaskaram, good evening. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the awardees. This is a distinction which institutions normally cherish. I am happy to be associated with this event, and for that I thank QS and SRM University for making it happen in our beautiful city, in beautiful state of Tamil Nadu. Here people are extraordinarily hospitable, and I hope in a couple of days, in fact the very brief stay that you have here, you would be able to enjoy the place and the hospitality of the people. This beautiful city of Mahabalipuram, like our state, is rich in history and has proud heritage. This place where we are assembled this evening, among the many achievements of history, I am tempted to recall the one which happened about sometime in the 5th century, when it used to be the seat of the Pallava Empire, and the prince who was to be anointed as the king, he renounced his kingdom, his kingship I should say, became a professor. He went to Nalanda, studied Buddhism, became a professor, came back and went to China, and he is credited with introducing Buddhism to China. This is the glory of this place. Friends, the theme of this conclave is partnership and collaboration. Collaboration and partnership is again our national heritage. Way back, several thousand years ago, and some would estimate that perhaps over 6,000 years ago, during the period of Vedas, what we call Vedic period, our rishis, our professors, our scholars, they exhorted us to break the wall. There must be exchanges of ideas, thoughts, and it's beautifully encrypted in one of the Vedic mantra. It says, Ano Bhadra Kratavo Yantu Vishwata. Keep the doors and windows open. Let the thoughts from across the world come to you, and let your thoughts go out. They gave us the wisdom and the merit of collaboration and partnership, to an extent that even today we recite the mantra of the collaboration in every auspicious function. We begin reciting that Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahi Tejashvina Dhimavastu Ma Vidvisavai. Together we move, together we relish, together we perform, together we reach the glory. Sangha Chadvam Sambadadvam Sambo Manansi Janatam. Together we move, together we share our ideas, and then together collectively we speak. This has been the intellectual and cultural tradition of this place, this country. And you are here in our state, which is known to be a education hub. We have numerous institutions of higher education. The number is over 70. 70. Universities, state, private, and institutions which have been accorded the status of universities. There is a vibrant academia. This place is rich in industry, and there is an enviable collaboration between industry and academia. Friends, today, India is a land of opportunities. Today, a new India, a confident India with a resolve to be a Vishwamitra, to friend of the world, and be a force for the good, for the positive, is moving forward. We have a national leadership who is not only visionary and dynamic, but the whole thought process is radically different. Within the last 10 years, India has emerged as a country to which the world looks at with expectation to help solve the problems of the world. It's not only that we are the fastest growing large economy in the world. It is not only that we have emerged among the top 3 startup ecosystem in the world. In various fields, the problems like poverty alleviation, 250 million people have been pulled out of multidimensional poverty in the last 10 years. Our digital public infrastructure is the envy of the world, is a textbook case where people are studying how it is. Even the remotest corner, remotest village, you find people are digitally empowered. This revolution is bringing about a lot of ancillary benefits. The potential, the magnitude of it is yet to be assessed, and it cannot be assessed through normal metric, the metric by which we have been doing so far. Our model of growth is human-centric. It is not greater good of the greater number. No. We look at this country as a family. And why country? We look at the world as a family. And that is how the motto of the G20 presidency was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. One world, one earth, one family, one future. But before the world accepts it, we have accepted for our own country. And that is why all the measures of all the initiatives of development are all inclusive. It is not incremental. It is not greater good of the greater number. If the health has to be provided, it has to be provided to each and every citizen of the country. There is no question of providing to X number and then to X plus Y next and then X plus Y plus Z. Every citizen of this country has to be given access to health care. Education has to be provided. It has to be provided to all. Every field, all the basic necessities which are needed for a dignified life of an individual, be it home to homeless, electricity to those without electricity, cooking gas. Everything reaches every house. Potable drinking water. This human-centric model of growth, instead of the GDP-centric model of growth, is again a new thing which our country is experimenting, and experimenting very successfully. Here, we find that now our youth, our women, especially rural women, they are bubbling with enterprise. I have been visiting places, remote villages. Even yesterday I was in the far remote village of my state. And I could see the women, the rural women, their entrepreneurship. Remarkable. If today we have more than 100,000 startups, it's because of our young men and women. I have many stories to tell. But let me briefly tell you. Some weeks back, I met a student, a girl student of 10th grade. She has made solar-powered ironing cart. I asked her, what inspired you? Coming from a remote village in a poor district. She said, in my village, the little town where I live, every corner, every street, here and there, we have people burning coal, charcoal, to do the ironing of the clothes of the people. And she was concerned that look at what amount of carbon pollution this could be doing. And she did the study for whatever, through internet and all. And she found out that in our country, we burnt over 1 million metric ton of coal almost every week for this ironing. And that inspired her to think. And she designed, why not we have it a solar powered? The cart which has the light in the night, in the evening, it burns. And it gives enough energy for the iron to be heated, to remain hot, and she irons it. She has the design, she gave it to the Innovation Center, which designed the prototype. Together, they made it. It's wonderful. Some time back, I felicitated again school children, 8th grade, 9th grade. They have made satellites. They have satellites which have been launched by our ISRO. And when they came and explained to me, I was a physics student. I was interested in how did they do that. Where from they got the idea. And then they started the way. Phenomenal. Friends, these things were unimaginable. India is at the cusp of a revolutionary transformation. Transformation at a speed and a scale which is unprecedented. And people have yet to grasp the full magnitude of it. Hence, it is a land of opportunities. Opportunities for all of us in every field. I, being the governor, I am also the chancellor of our state universities. We have 20 state universities. I also visit private universities. When I see the incubation centers, innovation centers, I see young students, young professors. It's very encouraging. It's a new culture, a new academic culture. is fast emerging in this country. Universities with professor of practice, people from industry, they are here. This is something which is admirable, is to be appreciated. Our universities are reaching out to the civil society, to the villages, finding out solution to their problems. In the process, the village benefits, town benefits, and university also develops new knowledge, new technology. It's a win-win situation for all. Yesterday, in the village where the farmers, the women farmers and women entrepreneurs were there in thousands. Agricultural University, we have Tamil Nadu Agricultural University. It's one of the pioneering agricultural university in the country. And I was delighted to see the collaboration between the university and the farmers, and the women farmers, solving their problems. Not only solving the problems, also giving them ideas for innovative farming, use of technology, hand-holding, and farmers, through demonstration effect, their enthusiasm. It was almost palpable. So, when it comes to our higher educational institutions, our universities, we need to have a greater collaboration. We believe that 1 and 1 does not make just 2. It has a potential to be 11. This is the power of collaboration. Our universities, our institutions of higher learning, they are now collaborating among themselves, and they are also collaborating with universities abroad. Our National Education Policy 2020. Someone says, after we became independent, it is the third education policy. I think that is unfair judgment, unfair assessment. Perhaps it is the first education policy that is suited to India. It's a revolutionary indeed. It is to meet not only the challenge of today, but the problems of tomorrow as well. It is unfolding. Universities, schools, they are all experimenting with it. Of course, it's a learning process, but the process is evolving fast. And in this policy, collaboration and partnership is embedded very, very deeply. The policy in place, the vibrancy in the air, confidence among the people. What more do we need? Friends, in this 2-3 days that you are here together, I would urge that we spend equal time, if not more, outside the conference, talking to other delegates and finding out, exploring ways how to collaborate, how to partner. Because when you go back, you must have something substantive to take with you. And I'm sure it will happen. There will be more collaborations, more partnership for the benefit of all. For the benefit of your institutions, for the benefit of our institutions. This is how the world is going to be like. This is how we can build a sustainable world. This is how together we can solve the problem of the world. Be it climate crisis, be it pandemic, be it poverty. These problems cannot be solved alone. We have seen in various other domains, domain of diplomacy, diplomat of economy, of defense, collaboration, in international relations, how collaboration matters and how it helps. It is long overdue that we scale up our collaboration among our academia and other stakeholders like industry and civil society. I'm sure this QS India Summit 2024 will be a significant push in this direction. Friends, those who have come from outside, since you have come to our state, you are here, we are so happy about it. I would also urge you to spend some time visiting the places, seeing the institutions, seeing the play. See, there are so many things. This, our state, Tamil Nadu, is, as I said at the beginning itself, it's so rich in heritage, so endowed naturally as well as through human endeavor and enterprise. Move around, see places, meet people, and enjoy the cuisine, even though it might be a little sharp for some of you, because here the Lahore people, they are very fond of spices. Never mind, if you can tell them in advance, put less chili, no problem. They will definitely oblige you. They will be very, very happy. I wish you all the best, comfortable stay, fruitful interactions, and very, very productive outcome of this conclave. Thank you very much. Jai Bharat.
Thank you, His Excellency, for the presidential keynote address. I would like to once again invite on stage Mr. Ravin Nair, COO QS iGauge India, to deliver word of thanks.
His Excellency, we're deeply grateful to you for gracing us with your distinguished presence and delivering such inspiring words. Thank you so much. I'm sure your words have left lasting impact on our gathering, and your support reinforces our commitment to transformative power of education. Your leadership exemplifies the importance of government support in championing noble causes that contribute to nation building. We extend our heartfelt gratitude for being the guiding force behind the summit. To commemorate this occasion, I request Jessica Turner, CEO, to present Honorable Governor with a gesture of gratitude. Thank you, Jessica. I also extend my gratitude on behalf of the entire QS team to Dr. P. Satyanarayan, Professor Rajkumar, Jessica Turner, and Dr. Ashwin Fernandez for your insightful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Your presence has added immense value to the significance of this event, and we are determined and we are reminded of the reflective theme that has guided our discussions today: empowering excellence, unleashing the potential of partnership and collaboration in Indian higher education. We sincerely appreciate your active involvement in the summit. Thank you very much. Okay, I would request everyone to rise up for the national anthem, please, once again.
जनगणमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
May I request everyone to remain standing, and we would sincerely like to thank His Excellency for his time to be a part of QS India Summit 2024 Chennai opening ceremony. Thank you so much. Please be seated. Okay. I would just like to inform you guys that now bar is open for some refreshment and drinks, so please help yourself.